biggest wealth creators in the auto ancillary space has been a stock called MRF, as we all know. A very high value stock now, but if you pull up a 2-year chart, you'll see it's been a spectacular mover over the years. Koshy Varghese, the Executive Vice President Marketing at MRF, joins us now to talk about a lot of the challenges that have hit the tyre industry in the last many weeks and months. Mr. Varghese, good morning and good to see you in after a long time. You know, the dumping of Chinese tyres is something that has spooked a lot of the tyre manufacturers in India, and as we understand from dealers and companies, things have gotten worse. How is the situation at your end, and you know, what is the price differential now between a Chinese tyre and an Indian tyre?
Essentially, the Chinese influx has been in the commercial tyre segment, which constitutes about 60% of the total market. So I think we must keep that in perspective. And today, the bulk of the tyres that are coming in from China are truck tyres, and they are truck radials. Now, to people who are familiar with the industry, the current tyre industry is going through a radialization phase, essentially in the truck tyre segment, which is today the market is about 25% radialized. In that segment are the Chinese tyres coming in. Today, by and large, the aftermarket size is about 3 lakh tyres a month, and currently our information is about 1 lakh tyres come into the country from China every month. That is very significant when you have 25% of your total market coming in from China at prices which are about 25% lower than your cross-ply tyres, which in technology is supposed to be lower than radial. Today, a radial tyre is in the bracket of about 20,000. Chinese radial is around 14,000. So that's a significant difference. Customers who may not be willing to buy a Chinese tyre would at least like to attempt to fit a Chinese tyre once, and that is a problem that is vexing the industry. We have taken up with the government, and I think safeguard duty is one route that we are attempting, so that investments made by Indian companies, fairly substantial investments have been made to increase radial capacity. Today none of them are running full. So there is a problem of on Chinese tyres.
Yeah, Mr. Varghese, good morning. Two follow-through questions. One, is this a productivity issue? Is it that they're getting something right and we have to tighten and make productivity gains? And two, what is the research that you have come up with on the Indian elbow room to impose safeguard duties? If you have managed it in steel, is the arithmetic working for tyre as well? How strong is the case?
Let me first address the cost part. Now, about 75–80% of the cost is raw materials on a tyre. Now, when the tyres which are landing into the country are below raw material prices, today RM prices are fairly, you can import from anywhere across. So RM prices, by and large, if they are far below RM prices, then there is something else that is beyond that is creating the problem. We are okay with tyres coming in from any part, so long as it is not below cost. And when we look at our own cost, today you have all the global players in India. I mean, there is no global player who is not today playing in the Indian field. And this is a problem vexing all of them. So obviously practices which are in India today are followed by tyre industry are global practices. It's not that it's anymore an insulated market. It's a very large market. On your question of safeguard duty, yes, there was an anti-dumping duty some time back on Chinese radial, which is over. So now it is a China-specific safeguard duty. The application is with the government. I think they are deliberating on it. And we are hopeful that probably something positive may come out of after the government reviews it.
Okay. Some dealers have indicated to us that there are a lot of price cuts that have taken place in the last couple of weeks across the tyre industry. Has MRF taken any price cuts in the truck space to combat the cheaper Chinese tyres?
Now, pricing is not just a function of combat, it's also a function of raw material prices. Now, over the last 1 year, as everybody knows, there has been a dip in global commodity prices, so also in India, including NR, crude, etc. So we have effected price reductions at various points of time. We did it in January, we did it in post that. So there have been reductions that we have done. So yes, we too have effected, and I think reductions of the last 1 year may be of the order of about 8% on a truck tire.
Okay, so will you need to take some more over and above this?
Well, price reduction is something, a rationalization which we periodically review. It's not pricing is not a knee-jerk reaction based on a competition reducing price and hence you reduce. It's based on our raw material, our market position, our market share. It's a function of so many factors. So at this point, we have taken some decisions. Going forward, we will wait and watch.
Okay, no, but is your reading of the raw material situation such that you expect you're going to have space to cut further?
I don't expect commodity prices in the immediate quarter hardening. It would probably continue to remain soft. There is no reason to think otherwise. With the global market being fairly lukewarm and China having cut production, etc., we don't expect raw material prices to harden up, at least in the immediate future. So if commodity prices continue to rule at this level, one needs to relook at prices at probably more frequent intervals than one has done in the past.
Okay. What's the duty that will safeguard? Will it be 25? Will it be 20%?
See, the whole idea at this point is that when the tires come in at these prices, what does it affect? It affects investments that are made. It affects jobs. It affects current people holding back future investments. Now, on one side, we deliberate and say about a Make in India campaign. On another side, if events of this type happen, people are fairly wary of putting money on the table. And that's what's happening across industries, more so in the tire industry. So it's not a question of a certain 10% or 20%. We are saying keep it at a level playing field. Look at the fact, is it being subsidized in a manner which is unfair? We are only asking for a fair level playing. We are not saying that tires should not be imported. We are okay with that.
I take a point, sir. I take your point, sir. What I'm saying is that I thought you told me that those radial tires are 25% cheaper than the non-radial tires. So I'm asking you, what would be the level playing field? Would it be 25%?
It would be today. There are within the Indian industry there are players who operate about 10-15% from the player who is the highest price. So anywhere in that bandwidth we are okay with. We are okay with in that bandwidth which is fair competition. But if it is below cost, then it's a point of worry.
Okay. You have been through many of these cycles where we've seen, so much slowdown in the industry, and we are in one of those phases where there's a double whammy. On one hand, there's a slowdown in demand, and on the other hand, there's dumping of cheaper Chinese tires. Do you think that this low single-digit growth that we've seen in the revenues for many of your companies will continue going ahead? That throughout FY16, at best, we'll see single-digit growth in top line?
I tend to agree with you because if you look at the auto industry space over the last 1 year, it's been fairly tepid growth. It's only the last few months the commercial sector is showing some signs of revival. Some green shoots are there in the truck industry, but nowhere near levels which were there in the past. So it will take some time, and passenger segment, the car segment is flat, two-wheeler has shown a decline. A large of this is also accounted for the fact that the rural sector is not doing well, and therefore they are not investing. So the rural demand having come down, I don't expect going forward in the next 6 to 8 months much happening. Everybody is hoping, we are hoping for reforms, we are hoping for GST, we are hoping for various other measures, but it may not make any meaningful difference to the demand. So from that point, I would expect single-digit growth to continue at least for a couple of quarters.
Okay. Just wanted your view on the recent deal that happened in the tire space where JK Tyres acquired the Kesaram Industries tire unit. Did you bid for that deal? Did MRF bid for that deal as well?
We look at options. I don't want to specifically answer about this particular deal, but we look at options. We do review options which come up from time to time, both globally and within the country. And we look at the fact whether there is a synergy between what we intend to acquire and our current business. And if we see a synergy, we go on. But by and large, our expansions have been greenfield. I mean, that's been our history.
Yes, yes, of course. Mr. Varghese, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for joining us with the macros and the micros of your sector. Well, that's the word coming in from MRF. The markets are